Okay, so what happens when a movie's most famous rule is the one that everyone is absolutely meant to break? We're talking about a film that pretty much built its entire legend on being talked about over and over again, and in the process, it became this massive cultural landmark.
You know, this line, it wasn't just a rule for the guys in the movie. It was basically a challenge to every single person who watched it. And by breaking that rule, we all kind of helped turn it into a legend.
And right there, that's the central paradox, isn't it? How did a movie that was a total, notorious bomb at the box office back in 1999 become one of the most important, most talked about films of its entire generation?
I mean, talk about whiplash. When it first came out, critics absolutely hated it. They called it dangerous, said it had socially harmful moral dubiosity. But now, today, it's literally the #1 most watched film on Letterboxd, the go-to app for movie fans. The difference is just, it's staggering.
Just look at that number. Over 4 million people. That pretty much tells you the whole story. It went from being this controversial flop to a certified modern classic. So, the question is, how on earth did that happen?
Well, the story really starts with a book that Hollywood looked at and basically said, no way. This is completely unfilmable. It was a total headache from page one.
And you can kind of see why they'd think that. The book is incredibly dark, it's super satirical, and so much of it happens inside the narrator's head. Trying to turn all that inner monologue into a watchable screenplay, yeah, that felt like a huge roadblock.
But then came director David Fincher, and he saw something completely different. He didn't just see a story about a bunch of guys punching each other. He saw a modern version of The Graduate. He saw it as a coming-of-age story, not for kids, but for a whole generation of men who were totally lost in the monotony of adult life.
So you've got a visionary director, you've got two of the biggest movie stars on the planet. It should have been a slam dunk, right? Nope. The film was an absolute, undeniable bomb at the box office.
Now, you might look at these numbers and think, they're not so bad. But for a major studio film, this was a huge disappointment. To give you some perspective, the last time Fincher and Brad Pitt worked together on the movie Seven, it made over $320 million. So yeah, this wasn't just a misstep, it was a massive step backward.
The studio just had no idea what to do with it. They couldn't figure out how to sell it. Was it this macho action movie that they should advertise during wrestling matches? Or was it this weird, artsy film symbolized by a pink bar of soap? They tried to do both, and it just confused everyone and alienated the audience.
But then, something amazing happened. Away from all the box office pressure and the weird marketing, people started finding the movie at home on DVD. They'd rent it, they'd buy it, and most importantly, they started talking about it. That one rule got broken again and again, and it's what saved the film.
And that word of mouth just never stopped. It built this legacy that is so powerful that today Fight Club is sitting above modern giants like Joker and Parasite at the very top of the Letterboxd charts. It's just wild.
So why? Why did it connect so deeply with people once they actually got a chance to see it? Well, to really understand that, you have to look past all the fighting and see the incredibly sharp satire that's at the heart of the movie.
At its core, this film is a brutal takedown of consumer culture, this idea that you can buy your way to happiness. And it's all perfectly summed up in that famous IKEA scene, where the narrator's apartment literally becomes the pages of the catalog. It's a flat, lifeless prison that he built for himself.
Fincher himself explained it perfectly. He said the film is about a crisis in modern masculinity. It's about a generation of men who were, as he put it, designed to be hunters, but they're living in a society of shoppers. They have nothing to fight, nothing to build, nothing to explore.
And this, of course, is the line from Tyler Durden that lays it all out. It's the movie's entire thesis in one sentence. A blistering critique of a system that promises to make you feel fulfilled if you just buy one more thing, but all it does is leave you feeling empty. But that powerful message has also turned into a huge battleground. For 25 years, people have been arguing about what the film is really trying to say. And that leads us to the biggest, most complicated question about its legacy.
This is really the question at the center of all the controversy today. Is it a dangerous playbook for toxic behavior, or is it a brilliant satire that a whole lot of people are just taking way too literally? So you've got two main camps here. On one side, people argue that the film's ideas have been co-opted by some pretty unsavory groups. But on the other side, you have the defenders saying, you're missing the entire point. They argue the film is making fun of masculine fragility. It's not celebrating it. They say Tyler Durden is not a role model, he's a cautionary tale.
And here's the thing. The movie itself shows you that Tyler's philosophy is a complete failure. His big solution, Project Mayhem, isn't freedom at all. It's just another system of control, one that strips his followers of their names, their identities, and turns them into these mindless space monkeys.
So, when you boil it all down, maybe the big takeaway isn't about whether Tyler Durden was right or wrong. Maybe the real question is whether the problems the movie pointed out way back in 1999, that feeling of emptiness, being trapped by consumerism, that desperate search for meaning, are still with us? Looking around today, what do you think?